I think a lot of us feel like good style comes from buying something new. But after living in Italy and growing up Italian Canadian, I realized that it's actually the opposite. It comes from slowing down, using what we already have, and allowing our clothes to actually live with us. And honestly, the outfits we end up loving most usually come from that quieter, more intentional place, not from something brand new. One of my all-time favorite brands is having a renaissance, so I'm gonna show you what I mean by dressing like Ralph Lauren without buying Ralph Lauren. No hauls, no new pieces, just creativity instead of consumption. I'm gonna walk you through 3 simple Ralph Lauren style signatures and recreate some iconic looks using the clothes I already own. Because that style we're chasing, it's almost always already in our closet. It just needs to be seen and styled and worn. And if Ralph Lauren isn't your jam, it's all good, don't worry about it. You can use this exact method with any aesthetic and apply it to the clothes in your closet. Okay, so Ralph Lauren, is it Ralph Lauren or Lauren? Hang on, I should know this. Okay, it's Lauren, like a normal human being, not like this pretentious media-driven Lauren. Okay, now we know, set the record straight. You heard it here first. Oh, self-doubt is a horrible thing. Anyway, I divided the Ralph Lauren aesthetic into 3 main archetypes. This is my observation. Western romance, Americana, obviously, like American heritage, and equestrian prep. But you don't need those literal aesthetics in your closet to create that feeling. What actually makes something feel Ralph Lauren is a few simple elements of style that are shared across all of these archetypes. And most of us already have versions of them in our closet. The first element is a mix of structure and softness. This is the silhouettes that they play with. Ralph Lauren almost always balances something tailored with something more relaxed. So think of a crisp shirt with denim, or a blazer with a flowy dress, or a structured boot with a soft, cozy knit. We already have so many of these elements in our closets, right? This is a feeling, not one specific piece. We can do this. Anyone can. The second most important element, textures, but not any kind of texture. They're natural, they're timeless. Think cotton, denim, suede, wool, leather. There's a richness and a naturalness to them. You probably already own denim, soft knits, maybe some leather or faux leather, something with a similar sheen or patina. Maybe you already own earthy tones in interesting textures like suedes, tans, browns, even olive colors, tweeds. Understanding these textures helps us avoid buying into that Western trend if it's perhaps not our thing. We can experiment with these textures before just buying into a vibe. The final element is understated classic shapes. And then with one bolder statement. Because the base is so classic, there's usually one accessory that shifts the mood. Maybe it's a boot or a belt buckle, a scarf, or a hat. What we're really doing here is a method. We're pulling out the elements of style from an aesthetic that we like so that we can recreate the feeling that we want using what we've already got in our closet. Once you learn to identify these elements, it becomes clearer and easier, and shopping your closet becomes like intuitive. It becomes so much more fun, so much more personal, and honestly, more sustainable because it's a habit that you've developed intuitively. And this, my friends, is how we build our own personal style without over-consuming. And if you want to take this further, because shameless self-promotion, I am offering gift cards to my live Shop Your Closet events. It's basically this whole method, but we do it together, live and in real time, and we do it with other people. So you get to see different body types and different closets and styles. It's one of my favorite things I teach because it's sustainable, it's personal, and it's completely focused on helping you use what you already have. I really wanted these gift cards ready for you as we approach the holiday season because I honestly think if you've been to one, and even if you haven't, it's a great gift for someone who loves style but doesn't want more stuff. I'll link it below if you're interested and if you want to have a look. And if you've already bought a ticket to any of my live Shop Your Closet workshops, thank you for your support. Okay, so now that we've seen how all of those elements inform the different archetypes and feelings of Ralph Lauren, let's put them to work. Western romance is all about movement, suede, earthy tones, and a bit of femininity, but the elements stay the same. Here's how I translated that Western romance feeling using the pieces I already have. I combined my long Smythe blazer with my flowy maxi dress with a split up the middle and beautiful ruffles at the bottom to create that structure and softness tension that we talked about in the elements. To give it a Western feel, I added this brave leather belt. It does have that kind of Western sensibility, but because it's a high contrast brown, I brought in my brown and cream earrings so that it doesn't feel completely out of place. The choice of boots was also really deliberate here. I chose a knee-high because that leans more towards a Western vibe versus something ankle length or even over the knee. Here's what the outfit looks like with an over-the-knee boot. There's nothing wrong with this, it doesn't look bad, but I want to point out how it changes the overall proportions of the outfit. This is already a very visually heavy outfit because it's all black. And the high over-the-knee boot reduces the amount of breathing room that we get because not as much skin is showing. Also, it leans more contemporary, less Western. Now look at how subtle styling changes like belt placement make on an outfit. I've put the belt under the blazer and kept it open. We still get the same vibe, this still has a little hint of Western, but it feels more polished. It's not so on the nose. So this is an option too if you don't want to feel too Western. And we didn't add anything, we didn't buy anything. We literally just changed where the belt was. Here's the mood board that I created to capture that classic Americana, or I like to call it American sportswear feeling. There's some denim, classic shirts. It's almost a rugged meets refined energy. And here's how I created that Americana energy with what I already own. I started with an all denim look, which in my opinion is actually the Canadian tuxedo, but we'll allow it in this Americana imagery. And it just felt a little too sloppy for that refinement that we know with Ralph Lauren. So instead, I made some tiny styling tweaks. I tucked in the sweater and the shirt, and I added a belt. I also cuffed and rolled up the sleeves and put my hair in a ponytail. I chose to style the boots and jeans in a more equestrian way. I could have gone with something more classic, but we talked about how the third main element of style is taking a classic base and using an accessory to shift it to one of the archetypes. So this is what I'm doing with the boots. These are the same boots that I used in the last look. I didn't need a special equestrian style boot. I literally just styled the boots I already had differently. Equestrian prep has that polished, tailored feeling with clean lines, structure, a little bit of athleticism, and a heritage accent. This is the most challenging archetype to create because it can easily feel costumey. Let me show you. Here's the first look I came up with to recreate that feeling. I knew I wanted to use this Smythe blazer because the cut is so beautifully equestrian. I also just love this blazer. But do you see how the tucking in of the boots makes this feel too on the nose? Not only that, but it also makes the proportions feel off because the jeans are so light. If I swapped out the jeans for something darker, that would be okay proportion-wise, but then we would fall into that whole too costumey, too equestrian category, at least for my personal taste. I also think that injection of Western romance with my lace blouse made this look feel confused. So instead, I swapped out the jeans for a classic dark denim boot cut. This brings in the whole Americana classic vibe, still a Ralph Lauren archetype, and I changed the boots to something more pointy. I also swapped out the lace blouse for a classic button-up shirt, and I buttoned it all the way up to the collar, which is a classic prep aesthetic move. Very basic pieces, but when I styled them in this way, I felt like I really got that balance of classic equestrian prep that felt like my style. If you've ever done a styling session with me, you know I can sometimes get on a roll, and this kind of happened when I was doing this, so I did a little bonus look for you. I hope you don't mind. This one is actually inspired by the more academia vibes or archetype that comes from Ralph Lauren. I know I didn't mention it at the beginning, but definitely some strong academic notes throughout his career. And I wanted to use this vest that was recently gifted to me by Smythe, but I swear this video is not sponsored by them. It's just a great Canadian brand that I've been wearing for a long time. Anyway, I love the way it looks with the romantic lace blouse that I have. This feels very Western romance, but also academic coded. I kept everything else quite simple with the indigo jeans in a very classic cut because there's already a lot of tension happening on top. Hope you like it. Okay, what did you think of those looks? I mean, I liked them. And remember, the objective isn't to carbon copy those Ralph Lauren looks. It was to help me evoke the same feeling and come up with new outfits to beat closet boredom and shopping as a result of that. That's the beauty of this method. Once you understand the elements, you can personalize and recreate any look, any aesthetic, any designer vibe, all by using what you already have. And even if you find you are missing pieces throughout this method, it gives you a better sense of what pieces you will actually get use and wear out of. So let me know if you liked this method and let me know what designer you want me to tackle next. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, if you learned something new, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so grateful that you're here, and I will be back in another slow fashion video. Ciao.